Salutations! Once again, Internet. A lot of people have been asking me about the flexible filament I use, and it's called Polyflex. Now this stuff is a little more rigid and less flexible than NinjaFlex, but it's still extremely rubbery and flexible. It's got a moderate dampening density instead of a kind of traction rubbery feel. So I'll be using this to 3D print my roommate a iPhone 5 case, which he's been asking for about a week now. Internet, hello again. So I got a request to do a video on how to use flexible filament, and last Wednesday when I was going to upload the video, I ended up having problems with the flexible filament, so I've been spending the week trying to figure out how to solve the issue. The problem I have is pretty much what I assume most people have. The hot bolt is spinning, and the filament doesn't go past the hot bolt into the extruder. It ends up winding itself around the hot bolt, and you get the extruder jammed and it starts to clip because it doesn't have the power to go any further, and your print just basically fails right there. So when I first started using flexible filament, I had the Bowden tube actually pass the bearing, the idle bearing near the hot bolt, and that actually worked, and I did that again and it worked pretty well. So I'm going to show you how I managed to do that. So I have a whole roll of PTFE tubing to make a new Bowden tube, so I decided to cut a groove into this one, and I'll show you right now what that looks like. So these are the three methods that I was using to use as PTFE tubing. This first one just has a flat edge. It was having problems extruding the filament because as the filament would pass through, it was fine, but if the hot bolt's here, which means the pressure is being added right where my finger is, as soon as there's pressure, it starts to bend around here and doesn't have the ability to go anywhere. And I thought initially it was just because if this jammed, it would always go in one direction because the pressure is being added on this side, so it was trying to roll around like this. So I use this instead. This is on the heat break side, this is on the filament side, and so when I push the filament through this one, as soon as I got a pressure, because now the hot bolt's on this side pushing through it, it's still flexed and it would bend around and I would still have problems. So I couldn't use this method either. So I used a similar method that went past the hot bolt, and so this is the only contact with the hot bolt this thing has. So the filament gets fed in through the top right here, then it passes through this gap right here with the hole, and then this goes all the way to the end. So that if there's a jam now with the pressure being added here, there's no flex, there's nowhere for the filament to go, so more pressure can be added. It's actually pushing my finger away, it's kind of that much pressure I can get. And if I were to push in further from here, I would get flexing above the extruder, but nothing would happen inside the extruder. My finger is currently the hot bolt, and there's nowhere for anything to go, it's just locked in this position. The damn gardeners. So this is a temporary solution to fix my problem with the flexible filament, but I will soon redesign my extruder carriage so that I don't have to deal with a longer PTFE tubing. But let me show you how I basically just put this on the extruder real fast. So if you take a look at my printer, this is the Bowden tube that goes down inside of it now. You need to make sure that the hole that's cut out is facing the front of the extruder so that the hot bolt can pass through. And I usually take a pair of pliers and I grab the part where the hot bolt's going to go inside. The coupling that prevents that from falling out is pressed up against the top of the carriage because I never did a countersink. So I'll eventually do a countersink on this, but I'm also going to try to redesign this whole piece of the extruder, the only piece of my extruder that's not 3D printed. I'm going to try to 3D print a new one that holds the filament in a fixed position, so we don't have to deal with this whole issue of the filament flexing around with flexible filament. So I'll be working on that soon. But after that's locked down in place, you make sure that there is no possibility for that going anywhere. And now that's ready to go. When the printer then gets to temperature, alright, now that the printer's at temperature, this is of course flexible filament. This is the stretchy stuff. So I just feed it through the top of the extruder, and then as soon as I get to the hot bolt, I start rolling the filament, and it starts pulling it in. So now you can see with the hard bolt, I can run the filament through the extruder without any issues. It's almost like a solid piece of filament because it has rigidity all the way from the tip of here all the way down to the heat break now. So there's no way there's any flexing inside the extruder. So I can just run the extruder and it'll just keep extruding the filament. So this is just a temporary fix for printing with flexible filament. I plan to redesign, like I said, the only piece that's not 3D printed on my extruder carriage to see if I can't kind of caress the filament as it goes through the extruder so there's no issues with the flexible filament kind of bending around. I think this is an issue that needs to get solved, but this video has the temporary fix for it. Soon I'll have a real solution. But until then, if you have any questions about this video and or suggestions for future videos, make sure you leave your comments down below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, especially the one that's going to have the permanent fix, make sure you click that subscribe button. I'm trying to stay like a week ahead of all my classes so that I have time to do other things. So I was going to post a video last Wednesday, but I got kind of caught up with some homework and a few other things. But now, since then, I'm way ahead of the curriculum, and I plan to stay that way so I have time to make videos like this during a class. I've been doing a lot of CAD modeling. I've been doing a lot of things for other people in the dorms. I've been making a little bit of money off the printer, which is pretty cool. And I hope to keep this channel running. I really do. Oh, and I don't know how many people are going to be upset about it, but I actually got paid $10 to shave my mustache and goatee off, and it's already starting to grow back. It's been like a day and a half and I'm already starting to have more of it come in, but I was like, hey, I'll make 10 bucks real fast. I mean, always trying to make money here on the campus. So I'm a broke college student. What do you want me to do? Stay tuned. So next Wednesday you might see the new extruder carriage or just another video about 3D printing and or other fun cool stuff. Thanks for watching.